The new threat of Carlton Crane and his son lingered in Nathan's mind for only a few minutes after the unwelcome visitors had been kicked out of the manor. Soon after, his focus returned to the two upcoming tests he was about to undergo. First, he considered the spiritual fighting examination, which was for youthful students of the sword only, and which happened once every 5 years in the kingdom of Calandria. Due to his rigorous training and development over the past 2 years, Nathan Hayfield did not think his test was anything to be concerned about. What took up far more of his mental energy was the second test, the Nobility Examination. That exam occurs only once every 10 years. It was far more important than the first exam, for if House Hayfield were openly challenged by a strong commoner family or rival noble house, they'd have to fight in a series of duels in order to keep their titles and their lands. Nathan knew that the Nobility Examination was the perfect opportunity for House Raven, the Clays, and the Cranes to exact their revenge on his family and steal the hamlet of Dunshire out from under them. Nathan's fists clenched as he thought about how they would soon have to leave the safety of their home to journey back to the fiefdom's capital of Godricshall in order to complete the examinations. Back into the viper's nest we go. Knock, knock. Later that night, as Nathan soaked in his dexterity elixir bath, he turned to find his father, Ulrich, quietly waiting for him at the door. Dress quickly, my son. Before we leave for Godricshall in the morning, there is something you must know. Nathan dried himself, then threw on a tunic and pants and followed his father down in the basement of the manor, where the family crypts were kept. Ulrich stopped as he approached the small stone statue of Nathan's mother, Priscilla. What is it, Father? Why have you brought me down here? There is something you must know before we make the journey tomorrow. Before our family comes under direct threat, this nobility examination will be no easy feat for us. We are surrounded by many powerful enemies, and if something were to happen to me, my secrets would also disappear. Secrets? What secrets, Father? You deserve to know the hard truth, because if I am cut down in this upcoming battle, this truth should not pass on with me. Please, speak plainly. Ulrich turned and looked over at the statue of Priscilla. Tears welled up in his eyes as he spoke, but he did not let them fall. Your mother, Priscilla? The way she died. What of it? She died from a plague soon after I was born. No, that story is a lie, meant to ease the minds of the local folk. Nathan, listen to me. Your mother was murdered. Nathan Hayfield leaned against the walls of the crypt and tried to calm himself. When all of his past life's memories flooded his consciousness, he took them all as truths. His mother had died while he was still a child from a sickness. This was the first time he had ever heard it said otherwise. What? That's not possible, Father. Everyone knows she was sick. Sick, yes. Dying? No. In fact, she had fully recovered by the time she was struck down. Who? Who did this to her, Father? Give me a name. Oh, lad, if I only knew the name myself. I was away in Godricshall at a council of the nobility when it happened. Old Billy found her with her throat slit in her chambers and told only me when I returned. When I found out, I was sick with fury. I wanted to bum rush the landscape and send the guards out into the countryside to comb it over inch by inch. But in my heart, I knew it to be a fool's errand. The assassin had clearly come and left, and the blood at the scene was cold. I can't believe it, Father. Who could have done something so treacherous? By all accounts, my mother wished no ill will on anyone. More than that, your mother was a saintly woman. She cared for the people in this town in ways I struggled to understand. At the time, I wanted to take out my vengeance on the world, but I couldn't. Amelia was but a child, and you were a newborn baby boy. Had I left then, would have meant the ultimate destruction of House Hayfield and everything Priscilla and I had built together. It kills me to this day to say it, but I know her soul counseled me from the heavens to stay here with you. Why are you telling me this now, Father, after all this time? Because, for the first time in forever, I feel strong again. You have given me strength, my son. For many years, I've given up the search for the killer to raise you, but now that I see your power growing, I know it is time to seek out vengeance once again. The only clue I ever found was a single footprint in the mud behind our house, a single boot print with a strange insignia on the base of it. This symbol here. Ulrich pointed to a strange symbol that almost looked like a star made out of interlocking swords that was inscribed by the base of Priscilla's tombstone. What does it mean? I don't know, but the footprint headed west, towards Godricshall. I do not know where the villain went after that, but I pray to the heavens to guide me toward another clue that shows us where the assassin went from there. Nathan solemnly nodded his head and gingerly knelt before his mother's stone statue. Do not worry, Father. I swear to you now, before the heavens and before Mother, that I shall help you avenge her death, that together we shall find the murderer and make him pay for what he has done. No matter how long it takes, no matter the enemies that stand in our way, we shall vanquish him and bring the bastard who did this to justice. Whoosh! As Nathan spoke, a blue glow emanated from his body, and suddenly a gust of wind blew through the chamber. Ulrich marveled at his son's spiritual abilities and resolve. Unbelievable. My son speaks as if the heavens themselves were right beside him. I can't help but wonder just how strong he really is. At dawn the next morning, Ulrich, Nathan, and Amelia mounted horses and set off on the road towards Godricshall. Since the Hayfield family was so small, they were able to move quickly across the landscape together. Along their journey, they passed a small column of villagers in a sorry-looking state. Ulrich frowned and galloped up to the front of the group. Nathan, stay here with Amelia in case there's any kind of trouble up ahead. Yes, Father. Nathan's superior hearing allowed him to eavesdrop as Ulrich approached the village elder at the head of the column. Nathan's eyesight helped him see that the man had a long gray beard. The rest of the man's face was covered in soot and blood. Ulrich spoke to the man without fear, only empathy. Good day to you, traveler. I wish to speak with you. Another lord on a horse. What do you wish to take from us now? Our soot-covered clothes? There is nothing left to steal. Be gone. What is the meaning of this, sir? What happened to you all? What happened? What always happens. Our lords in Godricshall demanded more wool from our sheepherds than was possible for us to shear. But does his lordship check to see the state of our village's shepherds? Or give us medicine to treat our sicker calves? No. He only demands more from us, year after year, until finally this year we could not meet his demands. What barbarity is this? Did your lord attack his own people? He did not invite us over for a flagon of ale, if that's what you're wondering. No, of course, he attacked us, sent in his personal guard to burn down our homes and slaughter our sheep. Only a few of us made it out with our lives. Heavens bless you. This is awful. You must petition Duke Godricshall at once. He will set this straight. As if the Duke cared at all. Our Lord is not some lowly noble. He has the Duke's ear and is untouchable to us. No, we flee to the mountains for now. At least there, he will not come for us. Ulrich frowned at this disturbing news and pulled a coin purse from his side. Here, it's not much, but it's something. It'll get your people food and clothes for the winter at least. You all have been deeply wronged, and for that, I am sorry. Thank you for your coin, good sir. Perhaps if more nobles took note of the common folk, we would not be in this situation. Yes, but I must ask you, who is your lord? As a noble yourself, you must know him well. The scoundrel that raised his own village for fun is none other than the High Lord Raven himself. Ulrich fumed as he begged his leave and returned to his children. Nathan acted as if he had not heard the entire conversation, but inside his mind, he plotted all the ways he'd make House Raven pay for all their misdeeds. As they approached the outskirts of the Godricshall, it became clear that all the noble families of the fiefdom, as well as all young spiritual swordsmen in Godric's land, were headed into the local capital city. The crowd entering through the gates was massive, large enough that street vendors poured out of the city to cater to the outside foot traffic. Sellers called out their wares to the crowd, while a few musicians began to play in the hope of making a few copper coins. Amelia's jaw dropped when they finally entered through the gate. She had never seen the fiefdom's capital before, and had only rarely traveled outside of the hamlet of Dunshire. This place was 100 times larger than any other city she'd seen before.
Look at all these people packed inside here already. Wow! To think the spiritual warrior examination isn't for another few weeks, and the nobility examination isn't for a month.
Ulrich chuckled at his daughter's amazement.
Just wait. A couple more days from now, this crowd will seem like nothing. During examination years, Godricshall is said to host 20,000 guests.
Although the grand meeting of the nobles and their youths had yet to begin, the festive atmosphere inside the city was infectious. Amelia laughed as she pointed out a clown on stilts, fire-eating performers, a snake charmer, and dozens of other entertaining sights. Nathan enjoyed his sister's excitement and allowed himself to chuckle a little, despite knowing the dark days that lay ahead. Finally, the three of them navigated into the heart of the city, where they ate dinner in a fancy restaurant and found a hotel with 3 rooms for the night. The following morning, Nathan, who had spent the most time in Godricshall when he went to school at the Academy of the Mystic Blades, showed Ulrich and Amelia around. He took them all over the massive city. Throughout the day, they saw many opulent monuments dedicated to great warriors of the past, as well as a beautiful series of public gardens and, finally, a tour of the outside of Duke Godricson's keep. Amelia took in everything with excitement, but Nathan noticed his father, Ulrich, couldn't help but survey the perimeter at all times. They were in enemy territory, after all. Later that night, over mutton chops at the restaurant next to their hotel, Ulrich cautioned his son against the many threats they faced.
Remember, Nathan, private duels in this city are forbidden, so if the Clays or House Raven try to goad you into a conflict, you must not accept unless it is in front of an unbiased public. Until then, you must be patient.
Yes, Father, I understand.
If I am goaded, as you say, I will only draw my knife if a deal has been made to settle the matter as a public duel. I will not engage them otherwise.
Good, good.
I feel our enemy's eyes are on us, even now, perhaps.
Across the street from the hotel, Lord Byram Clay's brother, Goldenaxe, watched them from the shadows. His hand gripped the axe handle on his shoulder as he approached the hotel, but before he could enter the building, a troop of Godricshall guards marched past. Goldenaxe sighed and thought better of openly engaging his sworn enemies. Instead, he leaped onto a nearby rooftop and raced across town as fast as he could.